Look who finally decided to join as a sleepyhead this morning. I guess you're still not quite awake, huh? Don't go too far, sleepyhead. Lessons begin promptly at 10.
In Stranger Things. Season 5, there is one moment where Vecna finally looks afraid. Not of Eleven, not of Will, but of Max running into a cave he refuses to enter. Tonight, we are breaking down why Vecna suddenly stopped chasing Max in Stranger Things 5, and the real story that has been hiding in the lore for years. Most people watched that scene and thought it was just suspense. Vecna slows down, Max escapes. Classic tension. But if you know Henry Creel's past from the first Shadow and the Dimension X storyline, that few seconds becomes one of the most important character beats in the entire season. So let us rewind. In the chase sequence, Henry has total control at first. Max is trapped in his mindscape. She moves through layers that feel familiar. The Creel house, the yard, the field. Then the trees get darker. Rocks rise up around her. Ahead, there is a canyon and a cave. Max runs toward it because it is the only path she can see. Vecna charges after her, confident and furious, until he reaches the cave entrance and suddenly freezes. His face is not angry. It is terrified. To understand why, we have to go back decades before Hawkins, back to Nevada, and back to Henry as a child. The Broadway play Stranger Things. The first Shadow fills in the part of the story the show only hints at. Years before season 1, the United States military ran Project Philadelphia. They tried to make a ship called the USS Eldridge invisible to radar. Instead, they ripped a hole into another reality. That reality is Dimension X, the world that gave us Demogorgons, Black Vines, and the particles that become the Mind Flayer. The ship and crew are thrown into Dimension X. Everything is wrong. Red sky, floating rock islands, storms of particles. Demogorgons slaughter almost everyone. Only one man comes back alive, Captain Brenner. He is infected with Dimension X particles. His blood changes. No treatment works.
What I have done was for your own good, for your own protection.
You kept Henry in that lab with the children. Was that for our good?
I had no idea what Henry would do. I cared for you. I loved you. I loved all of you. I was trying to help Henry, to understand him, yes.
Even after what he did.
Yes.
On his deathbed, he tells his son, Martin Brenner, exactly what he saw. A broken world, monsters, a presence that felt alive inside the storm. That story becomes Martin Brenner's obsession. He wants back in. Years later, in Nevada, Brenner joins a secret program that tries to recreate the same conditions as Project Philadelphia. Someone inside the project panics, steals a key device, and hides it in a cave system outside town. Their plan is to expose everything. That is where Henry Creel comes in. Henry is a quiet boy who loves caves and drawing. He explores the area with a spyglass. One day, he finds the stolen machine in a cave and meets the staff member who took it. During their argument, the device activates. The cave tears open. Henry and the staffer are thrown into Dimension X. For around 12 hours, Henry is trapped in that world. He sees Demogorgons up close. He breathes the Mind Flayer particles. He watches the adult with him die. When Henry finally falls back into the cave in Nevada, he is changed. His blood is no longer human. His emotions flatten. He starts to see people the way Vecna later talks about them. Small, fragile animals cluttering up the world. Martin Brenner finds the damaged device and Henry's spyglass. He tracks the boy to Hawkins and turns him into Subject 1. On the surface, it looks like Hawkins' lab is about psychic experiments. In reality, Brenner is studying the only human who has survived Dimension X and lived long enough to bring that power into our world. Fast forward to Stranger Things Season 5 and the chase with Max. What we are seeing is not the physical upside down, it is Henry's mindscape. Every location is a layer of his own memories. The Creel house is his safe mask. The field and forest are mid-level fears he can still control. The canyon and cave are the deepest layer, where his first trip to Dimension X happened. When Max runs there, she is not just running away. She is dragging him back to the exact spot where he first became Vecna. Think about what happened to 11 in the Nina tank in Season 4. When Brenner forces her to relive the massacre at the lab, her body goes into shock. She collapses. She does not want to remember what she did to those kids or to Henry. Her nervous system shuts her down to protect her. Henry has the same problem, but even older and even darker. His conscious mind has buried the worst parts of that day in Nevada, but his body still remembers what it felt like to be a powerless child facing Dimension X. So inside the mindscape, when he reaches the cave entrance, a different part of him takes over. His predator persona wants to keep going. His trauma slams on the brakes. That is why his eyes widen. That is why he cannot force himself forward. Max has led him to his own emotional minefield. There is another layer to this. Henry was around 9 or 10 when he went to Dimension X. That is the same kind of age he later targets as Vecna. Kids who feel weak. Kids who feel unseen. In a twisted way, he is hunting versions of himself, trying to take control of the weakness he hates. The cave is where that weakness was exposed for the first time. Crossing that line means facing the truth that even Vecna was once prey. Now add Will Byers into the picture. Will was also bound to this power source when a vine wrapped around his throat in the Upside Down. He breathed in the mind flayer particles. For years, he suppressed what that did to him. In Season 5, Will only starts to tap his own powers when he accepts who he is. Henry never does that work. Instead of healing his trauma, he lets the hive mind weaponize it. So when Vecna stops chasing Max, it is not a random pause. It is the most powerful villain in Stranger Things, hitting the exact limit of what his own mind will let him face. He is not scared of Max. He is scared of the cave, of Dimension X, and of the memory of being helpless for the first time. For me, this makes the scene one of the smartest choices in Stranger Things Season 5. It proves the first shadow is not a side product. It is essential canon that explains Henry Creel, Vecna, and the real origin of his powers. It also hints at how the story might end. The only way to beat Vecna may not be raw power. It may be forcing him to face the part of himself he has run from since Nevada. So what do you think? Is Henry Creel a pure villain or a traumatized kid who became a monster? Tell me in the comments. And if you want to go even deeper into Dimension X and Will's new powers in Stranger Things Season 5, watch my Will breakdown next. If you are still watching, drop cave trauma in the comments so I know you made it to the end.